Okay, Info Warriors, Alex Jones here with a update on the censorship and stuff going on the web. Remember last week, all of our channels with over 400 million views lost their director status, meaning we couldn't upload videos more than 15 minutes, and YouTube told us that we were being reviewed to be completely banned and kicked off because Bent Pixels had claimed that my interviews on the radio that we posted years ago with Joe Rogan and last year were copyright. Well, then I ended up contacting Bent Pixels. They called me back. The head guy there was very helpful, and he said, look, you'll notice you don't see Bent Pixels flagging stuff in the last few months because we just want like Joe's comedy routines and stuff. You know, the first time he does it, people tape it and put it on YouTube. We just want to block that because it ruins it for others when they come to a show. It's like a movie spoiler. But YouTube won't let us use our software, you know, for Joe's comedy stuff. They just do it for everything Joe's on. So you'll notice we're not doing that with new stuff. We've had to quit doing it because we're partnered with YouTube, but their software is just ham-fisted, to make a long story short. And the very day I talked to one of their head guys, he was in New York actually meeting with Google execs about this issue. And that's my point about SOPA and all this, is it just lets YouTube, government, you name it, just go across the board and claim things are copyright when they're not. So Bent Pixels went to all the trouble to file and to explain that they did not obviously own Joe being on my radio show. I want to thank Joe Rogan too. The day this happened, I called him. He got right on it, talked to Bent Pixels. So Bent Pixels is not the bad guys here. They're just trying to protect, Joe's comedy. You know, they've got Shaq and all these other people. In fact, I'll show you. Here's their partners. They've got a whole bunch of people in there, and I know it drives Joe crazy because he goes into so much trouble to come up with this comedy that I think is some of the most powerful comedy out there. I'm not just saying that because I've been friends with Joe for 13 years. It is powerful and pretty racy as well. Joe comes out with stuff and people videotape it, even though he tells them not to, and then put it right on the web. This way he can at least then put his ads over it if it's his comedy routine. And that makes sense because if not, people are just going to sue YouTube and just take the stuff down, period. So it's better that Joe went this third way and just puts his ads on there so people can see his latest comedy or whatever. And that's what Bent Pixels is doing. And that's what all these other people that, they've got involved in a lot of the MMA fighters, top guys, a lot of comedians. Because, again, MMA, the UFC, they could just completely ban anybody uploading it. But instead, they let them upload the fights and stuff, but then they put the ads for it up there. So they got a lot of big clients. I'm not against people having their own copyright, controlling their own media. And I think the fact that somebody does take your stuff to be able to put your ad on, it's fair. The problem is when a computer goes out and says, oh, Joe Rogan, we just own him, period. He can't be on Alex Jones's Infowars.com. And then YouTube, this wasn't Bent Pixels, says, oh, well, that's copyright violation. We'll just start restricting your channel and cripple it and maybe get rid of it. So that's my issue. So Bent Pixels, BentPixels.com, interesting company. Quite frankly, I've never partnered with YouTube because I don't particularly like them. They already put ads on my pages, but I don't let ads go on the videos because I can't control what goes on there. But Bent Pixels might be a good company to partner with because on other video sites and things, then it's just when people use your stuff, it puts an ad on it. And I mean, what's wrong with that? I let people copy my stuff and use it, but what would be wrong with that? Well, again, it's how it's implemented. And they didn't want to throw YouTube under the bus. They just said, look, we haven't been doing this for months, and I went and looked it up. It's true. We're not even using it now because we just think it's too ham-fisted and we've had some problems. So there it is, very helpful. It's a smaller company, kind of the American success story, just a few engineers over there who've had big success with Shaq and others. But the larger issue is the YouTube channel is back to its full uploads. They went and did the filings. They got it all fixed for us, and that's very responsive, and we appreciate that from Bent Pixels, and also appreciate my friend Joe Rogan. He's a very busy guy for taking time out to make sure this got fixed. So thank you to everybody. The Joe Rogan Podcast, Bent Pixels. We've got the channels back for now, but it's use free speech or lose it, defeat SOPA together.